What's up everybody? So far on this channel, I've been focused mostly on creating content about shoes that are recently released or available to purchase. And that will continue because I can't stop talking about shoes and I can't stop buying shoes. But another reason why I created this channel was to create a community for people to talk about sneakers. Now, that doesn't mean sneakers that are only available right now, but sneakers that have been available in the past, whether you like them or not. The model that I've got here is what is probably my favorite modern performance basketball silhouette that's been released in the last few years. It is the New Balance OMN1S. Let's get into it. Now, if you were to go back a few years, jump on the New Balance website, you wouldn't find a single performance basketball option. Jump on the website today and you've got a few to choose from. The two-way, there's the Kauai, and then there's the BB9000. There's also some really popular retro options like the BB550, but the shoe that reinvigorated that segment for New Balance is this guy right here, the New Balance OMN1S. The OMN1S was kind of unofficially Kawhi Leonard's first shoe. It's not his signature shoe. That shoe is actually the Kawhi, which was released after the OMN1S, but the OMN1S was the shoe that he partnered with New Balance to promote, I guess. And it's a shoe that also I feel never really got the chance it deserved to be the hit that it could have been. And unfortunately, I think New Balance is to blame for that. Here in Australia, it was a shoe that was incredibly limited in supply. There wasn't a lot of retailers stocking the shoe, and even when New Balance themselves stocked it, it was in incredibly limited supply. I've got no idea why they weren't pushing this shoe more than they should have. As far as the aesthetics goes, it is insanely good looking. There is a really great mix of tech, both in the upper and underfoot. There was some sizing issues, but we'll talk about those a little bit later. What I want to focus on right now are the good parts of this shoe. The style of the shoe is incredibly simple. And what New Balance did really well with the OMN1S was pair some killer colorways to a classic, simple type of silhouette. But simple doesn't necessarily need to mean boring. What New Balance have done with the upper is added elements in here that are both functional and create interest, like these straps around the heel and the midfoot that create stability, but also look really good as far as the proportions go. It's also typically where the branding would be printed on. Something I love about the shoe is the way that it wears that branding. This N around this heel panel looks fantastic, and typically around this midfoot strap is where we would see the New Balance written in this particular colorway, which was the Inspire the Dream colorway, which was part of a series that Kawhi Leonard released with New Balance. It's got the text Inspire on one foot and Dream on another. The eyelets themselves are functional. I mean, I guess they don't really provide any level of functionality above what you would expect a set of eyelets to do, but these panels that they've got sort of coming out of the shoe itself in this triangular shape really look quite nice. And in this colorway, as well as some other colorways, what they've done is they've actually got an alternating color on either side of the shoe, which you might not notice if they were on foot, but if you're looking at the shoe and appreciating the details, I think that's a nice touch. With the upper, New Balance have got a booty style construction, but it is not a typical booty style upper. Normally with a booty style upper, we see a single material being used all the way through, and that's not the case here. We've effectively got three different types of materials. We've got some fit weave, well that's what New Balance call it, around the medial and lateral sides of the shoe, as well as the toe box area. We've got a ribbed type of elastic material, textile type of thing around the heel of the shoe that is also really well countered to give stability and a locked in fit around that area, and then a ventilated type of mesh for what is traditionally the tongue. This all works really well together because you get stability around the midfoot and the heel while getting the flexibility and breathability that you need when you're wearing a shoe like this for long periods of time. Underfoot with the Omnis, the foam that is providing the cushion is Fuel Cell. The Omnis uses Fuel Cell in a little bit of a different way than you would be used to if you have used the running shoes, because it is even less squishy, but it is a perfect match to a basketball shoe. There is definitely a feeling of a well-cushioned ride with elements of responsiveness while not providing the sluggish feel that you sometimes get when you squish down into your shoes too much. What I do appreciate with this shoe is that it is a basketball shoe that really does feel like a comfortable lifestyle shoe. This total package came in at $220 here in Australia, and that is also another really good selling point for the product. I feel like it is a shoe that is put together well with some good tech in there, and it is competitive as far as pricing goes for other similar shoes in the market. There was one issue with the Omnis, and that's not supply because I've already spoken about that. It's actually the fit. This is a shoe that ran really long, I thought, and while that could be solved by sizing down, that's not always going to be an option for most people. I'm a US 13, and with the Omnis there was no half sizing available past a certain point. I didn't have the option to go down to a US 12.5, but a US 12 was simply not comfortable for me. There was a bit of a journey that you would need to go on in order to get the right fit for you. The availability just made that a lot more difficult to get right, because if you were buying them online, you would need to buy at least 2 pairs of shoes and then return one if they didn't fit, and it just can be a little bit much if you're really not that into a shoe. A little while after this guy was released, which is the Omnis Mid, New Balance released the Omnis Low, and they did something really strange with the Omnis Low. Here in Australia, they just basically dropped 7 colorways all at once, and in fact with the Omnis Low there are still a bunch of sizes that are still available on the New Balance website. I think the issue with what New Balance did with the Omnis was they took a shoe, they made it extremely hard to get, they didn't let enough people know that there was this really great shoe available, and so people just lost interest. Well, people who were interested lost interest, let alone people who didn't even know that the shoe was available. I certainly hope we do see another Omnis. I'm not sure if the Kauai is meant to replace the Omnis, but if it ever does come back, I'd really love to see New Balance do this thing justice and get it stocked in more stores and make availability for this actually decent. What do you guys think? Is this a shoe that you were at all interested in? Did you like the Omnis? Did you even know about the Omnis? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, but until the next video, laters.